Hello Booktube! This is Marty and welcome back to another video. If you're new here, please consider subscribing for more bookish contents, book talk, and book reviews with me. In this video, we'll be doing Asian Readathon 2020 wrap-up. For those who do not know what Asian Readathon is, this is hosted by Cindy of Read with Cindy to diversify our reading experience and read more books written by Asian authors to celebrate Asia-Pacific Heritage Month. It started in May 1 and ended in May 31. And for this video, I will be doing a wrap-up for the 6 books that I have read for the readathon. So let's start. I have arranged the books alphabetically by title. So we will begin with this one. A Very Large Expanse of Sea by Tahereh Mafi. This is actually my first novel by Tahereh Mafi, and I instantly fell in love with Tahereh Mafi, author-wise and writing style-wise. I gave this book 5 stars in Goodreads. I like Shireen. Shireen is a very relatable character. I remember the challenge for this. It's to read a book that has a character that you could relate with, and I relate so much with Shireen. I also struggle with society's acceptance of religion. I'm not a Muslim, but my religion also experienced a lot of persecutions from the society, and I understand where Shireen is coming from. The prejudices of people, the prejudices of the society. My heart goes to Shireen. I'm rooting for the girl, especially her talent in breakdancing. Go girl! But my favorite character aside from Shireen is Ocean. I'm not a YA contemporary fan. No, that's not me. But I enjoyed this book. I really enjoyed this book, especially Shireen and Ocean. Especially Ocean. Ocean is so special. And after reading the book, I think I realized we all need an ocean in our life. And if we cannot find an ocean in our life, maybe we could be Ocean. So what am I talking about? Who is Ocean? Ocean is the love interest of Shireen in this book, and he took the initiative to get to know Shireen and break all the walls that Shireen has built to protect herself from the discriminating society that she lives in since birth. So I really admire Ocean. And my favorite part of the book is that slow moments, confusing moments on Shireen's part when she didn't know and she doesn't notice that she's slowly falling in love with Ocean. Yeah, I really like that. The major takeaway of this book is the one that the character of Ocean has taught us, and that is, it is our responsibility to understand and take the time to listen to other people's story. Now, if you have the power to share those stories to others, then that would be more beneficial to the society, so that we could combat racism, especially nowadays. It is our responsibility to reach out to them because they are, and we are all battling our own battles. So if you will not take that responsibility to understand or to sympathize or to empathize with other people, then do not be part of the bullies. I'm not a fan of contemporary, but I enjoy this book. Highly recommended for teens, especially if you have these prejudices against Islam and Muslim and Persian. The next book is Descendant of the Crane. Don't you just love this gorgeous cover? It's so enchanting and it's so interesting. So my hopes and my expectations for this book were so high. I'm not disappointed. I enjoyed this book. I'm just maybe looking for more fantasy, more character development, I think. But it's a debut novel, so I think it has a lot of potential. Taken the beautiful setting, the empire built on lies, the political issues in this novel, Joanne He has given us a good read and a good start for this novel. It has a potential to be a high fantasy. I especially like Akira. Akira is the robber turned attorney of Hesina. So this story is about Hesina, She found out one day that her father died. Her father is the king of Yan. That makes her the future queen. She believed that her father did not die on natural cause, unlike what the palace has given as an official announcement that the king has died of disease. In this novel, Hesina is on her adventures to find out the truth and commit a lot of treason as the new queen of the kingdom. Interesting plot, interesting setting. I'm also interested in fashion, so I really appreciate it whenever Hesina is describing the clothes that they are wearing, because they just don't wear random clothes unlike us. My favorite part of the book is when Hesina assumes the post of being the new queen. It was so realistic. It has shown how not ready Hesina is. She's 17 and you're asking a 17-year-old to lead an entire kingdom. She does not know what would be the first step that she would take. The only thing that she wants as a daughter is to find out who killed her father. I think we all need a realistic hero in every story. It's not every day that you are appointed queen and you already know what's the first step to do without the guidance of your parents or trusted advisors. And I appreciate that Joan He has included that part, the struggle of Hesina as a young queen of the kingdom of Yan. However, my least favorite part is maybe on the character development. I'm looking for more character development, more character depth from minor characters like the twins that Hesina has in her court and her brothers. I really like the brothers of Hesina. Their family dynamics is very relatable since I also grew up in a big family, and yeah, I could relate to having different relationships with my different brothers and sisters. Major takeaway of this novel is we will now go back to my pet peeve where the old people or the elders would not train the young people or the youth because they fear for them. They fear that destiny would find them and they will meet some challenges in life. And we have to educate our youth on politics. Yes, it's a boring topic for the youth, but when you educate them on their rights, educate them on politics, educate them on social issues and current events, I think they will be more proactive citizens of the country and will have proactive leaders like my idol, Mayor Vico Soto. He's young but competent, very competent. Is there even a word higher than very competent? Highly competent. And that's because he's educated. That's because he has knowledge on the subject. I think we can educate the youngsters about social issues with a grain of salt, of course. We don't want to raise terrorists here. With proper education and proper training, I think the youth can do great things. The third book in our Asian Readathon is also by Tehera Mafi, and that is Furthermore. This is a middle grade fantasy novel where we follow Alice Alexis Quince Meadow. Alice was born in Farrenwood, and in Farrenwood, magic is color and color is magic. Unfortunately, Alice was born without color. She has milky hair and pale skin, and even if Alice was born in Farrenwood, their town was not really a good town to live in because there is still discrimination because Alice does not have any color on her. But Alice has a heart for people and she loves her mother. She loves her father especially. So the story is all about Alice taking adventure to find her father in Furthermore. In her adventure, she is joined by Oliver. Now Oliver is was one of Alice's bully when they were in school because Alice was kicked out from the school. She has to do homeschooling with her terrible mother. So yeah, Alice went to an adventure with Oliver, and I really like Oliver. This book gives me Alice in Wonderland feels and the same giddy feeling of adventure when I read The Girl Who Circumnavigated Fairyland by Catherine Valentine. I instantly fell in love with this book, especially Furthermore. Furthermore is very problematic. I would not recommend to live in Furthermore. I don't like that town. It's like going to hell only with glitters. My favorite part of the book is when Alice went to the land of the left. And that part when you keep guessing on who to trust and who not to trust. I think that's a good sign that you're reading a good novel. When the novel keeps you guessing, keeps you involved in the decision making of the characters. My least favorite part of the book is Alice's surrender. It's just so heartbreaking when Alice put all her heart in her dance and it was not appreciated by the society because there's no magic in the dance. The major takeaway of this novel is Alice, do not change the way you look. You have to change the way you see. I have given this book 5 stars in Goodreads. I have to admit that WEBTOON has hijacked my May TBR. I have read a lot of WEBTOON comics that are not in my TBR because they are so addictive. The 4th book is a WEBTOON series, a mystery YA romance, and that is My Deepest Secret by Hansa Art. At first, I was intrigued by the comics because the art resembles my kuya's drawing. I even showed the comics to my kuya, my elder brother. He's actually the one who taught me how to draw, and Hansa's drawing style resembles so much of that of my kuya's. So I was interested to read these comics. I had no idea that it was a mystery thriller. In these comics, we follow Emma, and Emma is a victim of domestic violence. She is abused by her father. So when she grew up and finally found a boyfriend as handsome, as enigmatic, and as sweet as Elios, she felt really elated, and she felt her heart flutters whenever she realizes that this handsome boy, this mysterious guy is my boyfriend. But then strange things happens to people around Emma whenever she felt upset, and that is now the quest for our lovely and cute and cuddly Johan. So Johan Lee is a detective wannabe. He's a fan of Detective Conan. He's a law student. So far in the story that I have read, my favorite part is this part where young Johan met Mr. Oscar, and that part of the comics is so wholesome and it's so refreshing, and yeah, I love that part. My least favorite part is that part when Emma and Elios were talking. They were talking about Emma being over empathetic with other people. Emma worries that somebody feels bad because of what she did, and Elios said it's not your responsibility to care. Like that, you cannot afford to care about other people, because if you will care about them, what will happen to you? At some point, I understand Elios. I also feel exhausted after feeling so much about other people's struggles. I also feel exhausted. I also come to the point that I feel tired, emotionally tired, trying to solve other people's problems. Elios has a point, but if we will all think like Elios, then I don't think the world will be a better place. Let's keep Elios's type or mentality at a minimum level. So, major takeaway of this comic is that having an open and honest communication with your better half or your partner will go miles. I gave this webtoon comic 5 stars in Goodreads. Everybody who is a fan of comics and mystery put together, then this is a recommended comic for you. Next book is Parakaivi by Ricky Lee. We all know Ricky Lee, Maestro Ricky Lee, the renowned screenwriter. He's also the one who wrote Amapola. Parakaivi starts with love stories of 5 female characters and their struggles in finding love. According to Lucas, the writer of the stories of the 5 ladies, 4 out of those 5 people would find a happy ending in their love story. So in this story, we follow the 5 ladies. We have Bessie, Irene, Erica, Elena, and Sandra. So we have Irene. Irene has a photographic memory. She remembers a lot of details, a lot of knowledge, dates, times, even the favorite food of a certain celebrity, what certain person wore on a specific date. And she fell in love with a boy. I just forgot the name. I don't have a photographic memory. Joshua? Joshua? Yeah. So, we have Irene, and she fell in love with this boy who she met when she was young, promised her that when she grew up, he would marry her. Irene grew up thinking that someday she will meet this boy and he will fulfill his promise. However, when the time came that they met again in a hotel lobby, the man did not recognize her, and that broke her heart. And then we have Erica. So Erica is fantasy girl. Erica was born in Maljaga, a fantasy land where love is unknown, love is never heard of. They have this familial love where the love for family, the love of material stuff, but romantic love is unheard of. So Irene was intrigued of the outside world, outside Maljaga, and one day she managed to went out of that place, but then she found out that since she was born in a place that do not know what romantic love is, she also do not know how to love. So that is Erica. And then we have Elena. Elena is a bi mother who has admitted that she has a feelings for her female housemaid. But then the housemaid is already married with somebody, and it is not a happy marriage. And then we have Sandra. Sandra's love was towards her brother, her older brother. And that love went downhill when their father found out about their affair. And then we have Bessie. Bessie made Lucas, the writer, fall in love with her. My favorite part of the story is when Lucas was talking to his characters. As an aspiring writer, I relate to Lucas. There are also some points in my writing stage that I talk to my characters. Like, do you like this ending? Or am I doing you justice? Is this dialogue being true to your character? Stuff like that. So, meta writing, meta thinking, thinking about thinking. So, I relate to Lucas as an aspiring writer. My least favorite part of the story is actually incest. So, I don't like Sandra's story. Yes, I agree that there are different forms of love, but incest is not just acceptable for my taste. So, nope. Major takeaway of this book is that we can choose our own story. We can write our own story. We say that God has big plans for us. As humans, He created us with free will. I think we could use that free will to choose our own adventures, to choose our own battles. I gave this book 5 stars in Goodreads, and I highly recommend it to all Filipinos who are looking for Filipino books written by Filipino authors. Ricky Lee is a must-read for us, guys. And we're down to our last book for Asian Readathon, and that is actually a comic series again. The title is True Beauty, written by Yang Yi. This comic is about Jugyong. Jugyong is a victim of bullying since a middle grade, since elementary. She has pimply face. She says, according to her, she's ugly. But according to me, she is just an average girl fighting hormones. But if we're going to talk about beauty standards in magazine, according to magazine beauty, then maybe we can understand if Jugyong thinks that she is ugly. She is not as thin as those magazine models. Her face is full of pimples. She is a comic geek. And according to my research, Google lang yun. So according to my Google, beauty standards in South Korea has skyrocketed through ages. Glassy skincare, makeup tutorials, even plastic surgery is normal. So we could feel where Jugyong is. This is actually a love triangle between Jugyong, Suho, and Sojun. I like Jugyong because of her fighting spirit. Instead of burying herself because of the bullying and discrimination that she has received because of her face or her physical appearance, she took it as challenge and tried to improve herself and did something with what she is good at. And she's good with arts, so she tried watching YouTube makeup tutorials during the entire summer of her middle school, going to high school. So when she reached high school, she was this beautiful version of herself, and everybody started to befriend her. I think that's realistic. People who judge you by your looks and the society being so mean and discriminating to average looking people, normal looking people. I naturally like Jugyong, but in terms of character depth, I like Sojun more. Sojun is one of the love interests of Jugyong. Aside from he's so guapo and so talented, he can sing, and I'm really trash for musicians. I really like characters who are musically inclined. I think kahit hindi guwapo si Sojun, I would still ship him and Jugyong. Sojun is a hardworking person. Since their father is not around anymore, he stood as the head of the family. He takes care of his younger sister and his mother. He takes a lot of part-time jobs just to make ends meet. And he is also a sweet boyfriend to Jugyong. I think Suho is too good to be true, and Sojun is more of a realistic character that you meet on the street, minus the super guapo and super hot everyday part. My favorite part of this comic book is the flashback in the teenage years of Sojun, Suho, and one of their friends. Brings a lot of high school memories. And I really liked how dynamic their friendship is. This comic gives us a glimpse of the world of the celebrities, where as soon as they become celebrity, as soon as they become a public figure, we think as common citizens, we think that they are already on our hands, that we can throw anything to them and they would just take it gracefully. But sad to say, that's not real. What's happening is that there are a lot of celebrities who actually suffer depression because of the judgment of the fans, and because we are trying to control their lives, because we want to see what we want to see of them, and the fans' expectations towards them raise higher and higher on every time that they are on screen, and that we expect that whoever they are on screen is also their personality off screen. I think the major takeaway of these comics is how society could be judgmental, manipulative, discriminating as soul. Nobody is an exemption to the society's prejudice. Like, even if you're a celebrity, even if you're a common person, even if you're rich like Suho, you are subject to depression or mental illnesses in general. True Beauty is a good read for those who are looking for worthwhile comic reads. I highly recommend True Beauty. So those are all the books that we have read for Asian Readathon. We have read 6 books for a total of 2,193 pages, and the total experience rating is 4.83 stars. So that's it for this video. And if you learned a thing or two, please don't forget to subscribe and ring that notification bell so that you will be notified whenever I post a new video. Happy reading!